Hello everyone, this is Dr. Ilyas from the Department of Education, Hazara University, Mansehra. Today's presentation is about research proposal and the questions that revolve around research proposal. So this presentation will discuss the what, why, how, and when questions related to research proposal. So this particular presentation has been structured around the what, and then there is this other what, and the why, the how, and the when questions. So the first what does the first what in this particular conceptual structure actually mean? Let's see what do we mean by that. The first what is actually the question, which is that what is research proposal? So generally a research proposal is a concise blueprint of a proposed research study. So research students or researchers in general or academics who want to conduct some research study, they actually have to prepare a blueprint or a proposal that that actually revolves around that particular research study, and that they are supposed to and that they are proposed to study. It might also be defined as a plan of action regarding the practical conduct of the proposed study. So the proposal generally has answers to the questions um, such as what, why, how, and when of the research study. There are other questions as well that are subsidiary questions, so we will also briefly discuss those questions. But these four questions are main questions that we need to discuss in terms of explaining the structure of a typical research proposal. So let's see and further explore what do we mean by the what of the research proposal. Well, what is research? What is the research about? So the research that this particular research proposal revolves around, the first what will be in the structure will be actually a kind of a response to the question or to this question of what this particular study is all about. And this particular question will be asked in the very beginning. And so it will be answered in the research proposal in the part called introduction and background. And so what is introduction and background of the particular study mean? That actually means what is known before this particular study. So what does the researcher who is planning to research to do this particular study or this research, what do they already know about it? So what is actually there in the previous literature or in the previous background of this particular study? Then the what section will also cover questions that actually will revolve around research objectives. So what the current study aims to explore, this is something that will be covered in the section called the objectives of this particular research study. And so the proposal should have this particular section, which actually in a way identifies the objectives of the research study. And then the next part in the what section is the research questions and hypotheses. So the research proposal, in the beginning part of the research proposal, there should be research questions. Generally, there are research questions or hypotheses, and in some cases, there are both research questions and hypotheses. So, this word section overall, in summary, is about the introduction of this particular study and the background of it, and also the research objectives and the research questions or hypotheses, and all of these are essential parts of the research proposal. Now, the why question. So, the second most important question that needs to be answered in the research proposal is actually, why is this study being conducted? Here, the researcher has to give the rationale of the study, the significance of the study, and he or she should also identify the knowledge gap there because of which this particular study is being conducted, or there is need for conducting this particular study. So this section will also may also include possible contribution to the particular field of scholarship and knowledge. So responding to the why question again will be in the beginning sections of the research proposal, where the researcher will justify the conduct of the particular proposed study that is identified in the what section of the research proposal. Then the how question. The research proposal should also have material related to the how question, and that actually means how is the research going to be conducted. In other words, this is something that relates to the research design. So what research design will be adopted for this particular study? Will that be qualitative research or quantitative research or experimental research or a combination of qualitative and quantitative research studies, such as mixed method research designs? And there are numerous other research designs. So in this section, there will be justification of the particular research design and also the feasibility of that particular research design. This how section will also include the information related to the proposed sample of the study and the sources of information and data that will be included in this particular section. And then there will be a section related to data collection and analysis processes. So how will data be collected? And so how the data that is being collected, how will that be analyzed? What will be the analytical processes involved in actually explaining and understanding the information and data that has been gathered for this study? Again, this section might also have the steps related to the validity and reliability issues related to research. So the validity and reliability of the research process is quite important. And it is very essential that the research proposal should have sections that actually refer to and explain the validity and reliability issues of the particular studies. And of course, a very important consideration is ethical considerations. So a study that is not based on ethical considerations will not be a valid study. So ethical considerations, such as an example of those could be anonymity, confidentiality of the data sources, will also be something that will be explored and presented in this particular section of the thesis, which is called the methodology section. And so this will be in response to the how question, and so this again is an essential part of the research proposal. And so now move to the next question, which is the when question. The when question is also an important question in most research proposals. When actually actually mean the timeline. And so the timeline, the schedules, the timetables are quite important in research studies. Most research studies are bound in time and space, and especially time. And so whether they are student projects or whether they are research studies for research theses, for degree programs, or whether they are research for other projects, time is important. And so the research proposal, a good research proposal must have timeline. So when are the various processes in the conduct of this particular research study are actually planned. So when will data be collected? When will data collection start? When will data collection end? When will data be analyzed? And so when will a stage come when the researcher will go on to the report writing stage? And so also there might be timeline for revisions and refining, and also for submission. And so these are all very important questions that we have discussed so far in this brief presentations. In summary, the research proposal should have answers to questions such as what is this study about, and so that will be covered in the initial background and introduction and objectives and research questions and hypotheses section. And the second part is the why, which is actually rationalizing of the research process and justifying this particular research study. And so that again is an important part of most research proposals. The next one is actually the what, and then why and how. So the how question actually revolves around the methodology, and so methodology will be one of the most important parts of the research proposal. And the last but not least, the when or the timeline or the time schedule. This is something that is very important and should be a part of a successful research proposal. So thank you very much for your attention, and I have asked questions basically related to, and so I have presented this research proposal in the form of questions. And so if you have you might have many more questions. If you have questions on your mind, please share those questions in the comment section. Thank you very much. Take care.